He was rapping, nobody helped him, and then 50 put him in acting suit, kept it on the low, and he made all this money.
What's up, big homie?
What's up? What you doing?
I'm chilling, I'm acting, man.
Yo, I just called. I was calling you because I was thinking about people that got to give me my money back.
Oh, man, here we go. Oh, come on, big homie. What you talking about?
I wasn't even talking about you, but now that you said that.
What happened to the guy?
I'm gonna give you an example, right?
Go ahead, yeah. Because
I know Mike's been running through millions, billions since his 20s, right? He did a lot for a lot of people, just like 50, right? So in life, you gotta always remember, it's not all about how many times you say yes. It's about that one time you say no.
Now the question everyone's been asking about. 50 Cent versus Big Meech.
Man,
woo.
You know that 50 crazy, man. 50's crazy.
BMF Immortal, and it's cool. Like sometimes we switch perspectives, so it's from a law enforcement perspective.
Oh wow!
Instead of it being from the, the actual hustler side, of the aspirational side. Just you know how often someone gets in trouble and decides to tell on someone else to rap. Yeah.
Big Meech is broke, and Tony Yayo is spilling all the tea. In a wild new interview, Yayo didn't hold back on why 50 Cent completely cut ties with Meech. And surprise, it's all about money. Apparently, Meech and his son burned through their BMF fortune like it was nothing. Now, with 50 washing his hands of the situation and even threatening to cancel BMF, things are looking rough. No cash flow, no backup plan, the Meech family is hanging by a thread. And honestly, they have no one to blame but themselves. So what exactly did Tony Yayo reveal? And how bad is the money situation? Let's get into it.
I'm assuming that you were doing it for free.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming everyone else was doing it for free also.
I'm pretty. I don't. But I'm pretty. I mean,
yeah.
You charge a nigga home from jail. You
Meech, why you going with Ross? The truth is, when we did take that picture with Meech, I ain't gonna lie to you. There was a lot of people in my comments with rat emoji before 50 even said nothing.
I go out and spend $50,000, $100,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row, 3-4 nights in a row.
BMF boss, the legend Big Meech, has a GoFundMe page.
What?
It was said that this GoFundMe page was set up to assist him in paying his bills since his Welcome Home concert got canceled.
Give me my time. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about.
right.
They ain't telling nobody. Because if you're telling, you can't even look forward to going home.
It's gonna be hell.
Where you going after you get out? The neighborhood ain't accepting that. We heard you some rap.
Other people, they can go left on you so quick that you go, that the heater doesn't have capability of being loyal to anything.
I ain't never told on no in my life.
Right.
You needed protection, and your protection gone. That's the truth.
Now, the question on everyone's mind. What went down between 50 Cent and Big Meech? Tony Yayo recently sat down with Vlad TV, and let's just say he had a lot to say about Meech's money problems. After Meech was released from prison in October 2024, Tony and a few friends stopped by his house. Instead of celebrating his freedom, Meech was venting, complaining that Lil Meech wasn't giving him any money. According to Yayo, Big Meech was struggling and expected his son to help out, but Tony wasn't feeling sorry for him at all. He made it clear Meech did this to himself. He had the money, but instead of making smart moves, he blew it all. Yayo recalled a conversation where Meech was frustrated that Lil Baby, who had just pulled up in a Ferrari truck, wasn't giving him any money. Tony, watching all this unfold, couldn't believe what he was hearing. In his mind, nobody owed Meech anything.
What's up, big homie?
What's up? What you doing?
I'm chilling, I'm acting, man.
Yo, I just called. I was calling you because I was thinking about people that got to give me my money back.
Oh, man, here we go. Oh, come on, big homie. What you talking about?
I wasn't even talking about you, but now that you said that, you should give me back some of the money I've been giving you.
Oh, homie, come on, man. You know I love you too, man. Come on, man. Don't do me like that. If you want me to shoot somebody, point the finger, I'll pay you back like that.
He also pointed out that maybe if 50 had given Meech a little something, a bag, a watch, or anything, it could have helped smooth things over. After all, Rick Ross did that for him. But at the end of the day, Yayo made one thing clear. If Meech had been smarter with his money, he wouldn't be in this position.
But when we go to your crib, and me and Murder sitting in the backyard, and you like, yo, little baby ain't give me no money. He came in the Ferrari truck. He had the Ferrari truck. He had 4 pockets full. I'm looking at this like, yo, this nigga tripping. Like, little baby he's not obligated to give you nothing. I looked at it like, from that point, maybe 50 should have brung a bag for Meech and maybe a watch or something. Because obviously that's what Ross did or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I had in mind. Because he said it to me and Murder, and I'm sitting there analyzing it like, damn, this nigga wanted some bread, or maybe he spent all the bread because he made a couple of million with 5. My whole thing is, maybe the relationship would be good as if you saved some money for your pops when he came home, but I understand how it is to be a young black man with money and you don't make the right decisions.
And honestly, he gets it. A young guy with money isn't always making the best choices. But now with no safety net and no real income, Meech is stuck learning that lesson the hard way. Looks like that's why Boosie stepped in and offered to throw a free welcome home concert for Meech before it ended up getting canceled.
I'm assuming that you were doing it for free?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming everyone else was doing it for free also.
I'm pretty, but I'm pretty. I mean,
yeah.
You charge a nigga home from jail,
He even admitted that nobody was charging a dime for it. It was all supposed to be on the house. But at this point, a free concert wasn't going to fix Meech's money problems. And if he was hoping Lil Meech would step in and start cutting him checks, well, that's not happening either. Lil Meech is just like his dad when it comes to money. He spends it like it's never going to run out. According to Yayo, he's already dropped a wild $10,000 on Chrome Hearts jeans. And not just one pair, he owns 10. If he was good at managing his money, maybe he'd be helping out his dad instead of flexing designer drip. Yayo made it clear he gets it. When you're young with money, you go a little crazy. He even admitted that back in the day, they were out here spending too. But $10,000 jeans? That's a different level. He pointed out how back then, they were rocking red monkeys for $1,000, and now everything's triple in price just for the flex.
To be young and have money is crazy because we was young and had money before, so I understand. Motherfucker got Richard Millie's, Lil Meech got Richard Millie's, Chrome Heart jeans, 10,000. You know what's crazy? We went to Meech's house, we was with 50, he's talking about stuff in the future, he made your family money. You would think you would be a little bit appreciative, but and he made all this money. You understand what I'm saying? But to be young and have money, motherfucker got Richard Millie's, Lil Meech got Richard Millie's, Chrome Heart jeans, 10,000. So it's like, I understand him being young and all that, but when we go to your crib and me and Murder sitting in the backyard and you like, yo, little baby ain't give me no money. He can't. Understand how it is to be a young black man with money.
And let's be real, Lil Meech is living in Atlanta, surrounded by some of the richest guys in the industry. Yayo broke it down. Even if Lil Meech made a few million, the people he hangs around with are pulling in that kind of money every few months just from touring and streaming. So it's no surprise he's out here keeping up with the lifestyle. When you're deep in the Atlanta scene, Magic City, the clubs, the luxury, it's easy to blow through cash like it's nothing. But at this rate, both father and son might just end up in the same boat, struggling to keep up with the life they used to live. Nobody can say Tony Yayo isn't speaking facts, especially after what happened in 2023. That was the year Lil Meech went on GQ's On the Rock series and casually flexed his $500,000 BMF chain. Fans couldn't believe he had dropped that kind of money on a chain. But Lil Meech, he was loving every second of it.
Elliot did my new BMF piece. My old BMF pieces I don't have no more. Elliot charged me $200,000 just for this Cuban. This Cuban is like 1,100 grams. It's chunky, real big. I really can't have this on for longer than 3 or 4 hours. My neck started hurting. The lock say Eliante on it. You know, say his name, his signature. They got the 3 big boogers on each side. So ain't no regular Cuban, you know. You might find a regular Cuban for 50 or for 100 maybe, but you know, it's 200 just for a kilo.
What's the pendant cost?
3 just for the pendant. There's some shit like, either I give my daddy, like when he come home, like I keep this forever, like, you know. You can't even go no bigger than this. You know, you don't see no silver or gold. You see straight the water.
He broke down the details of the bling, talking about how OT made it and how his old piece was long gone. The Cuban link alone cost him $200,000, and according to him, the chain was big. So big, in fact, that he admitted he couldn't even wear it for more than a few hours at a time. He even pointed out that this wasn't just any Cuban link. Regular ones might go for $50K or $100K, but this, $200,000K just for the kilo. Then came the pendant, which was another $300K.
I go out and spend $50,000, $100,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row, 3-4 nights in a row. Now you got a dudes in the corner watching that want to spend a couple $1 million with you. Right. You see what I'm saying? I got lavish homes, lavish spots all over this mother.
And he wasn't letting go of it anytime soon. He said he'd either pass it down when his people came home or just keep it forever. The flex was real, nothing but straight diamonds, no silver or gold in sight. But before anyone thinks his dad would check him on the spending, Big Meech was doing the exact same thing. Meech himself once bragged about how he could spend $500,000 in a single night, sometimes for multiple nights in a row. He described how people around him, other millionaires, would see him dropping crazy amounts of cash and want to do the same. And when it came to homes, he had them everywhere. But here's where things get messy. Lil Meech probably thought he had 50 in his corner, but that changed real quick when 50 hit him with a brutal reality check. In his since-deleted Instagram post, 50 put him on blast for sharing their private text messages. Lil Meech had reached out, clearly hurt, saying he couldn't believe 50 had unfollowed him on Instagram. He reminded 50 that he was the one who introduced him to Skillababy and Rocket before 50 even knew who they were. He couldn't understand why 50 was treating him like an enemy when all he had ever shown him was love and loyalty. He even admitted he was going through his own struggles, but never once switched up on 50. But at this point, it looks like 50 isn't interested in hearing him out. Lil Meech finally spoke up about his dad linking up with 50 Cent's longtime rival, Rick Ross. And according to him, it wasn't personal, it was just business. He made it clear that he had no love for Ross, but at the end of the day, his dad took the money. That cash was helping Big Meech pay his bills until the next season of BMF started. But all this online drama, it was getting to him. He reminded 50 that they knew each other in real life, and this internet back and forth was messing with him.
BMF boss, the legend Big Meech, has a GoFundMe page.
What?
It was said that this GoFundMe page was set up to assist him in paying his bills since his Welcome Home concert got canceled. The funds from the Welcome Home concert was supposed to go towards his bills, and it was supposed to assist him in paying them off. Now,
but 50, he wasn't having it. Instead of sympathy, he hit Lil Meech with a cold response. What next season, little ninja? Yeah, 50 was basically saying he could replace him or shut the whole show down if he wanted to. Fans thought it was harsh, but it looks like 50 is straight up enjoying the drama. He even took things a step further and clowned Meech's money problems. He posted a GoFundMe page on Instagram, joking about how Big Meech needed help covering his $30,000 a month Airbnb. He even threw in a shout out to Quality Control, hinting that the house belonged to P from QC. And here's where it gets even crazier. There are rumors floating around that Big Meech actually set up that GoFundMe himself after his Welcome Home concert got canceled. Word on the street is that the concert was supposed to bring in money to help cover his bills, but once that fell through, he had to look for other ways to get cash. Some people say the page is real, while others think it's completely fake. So for now, no one really knows the truth. But one thing is clear, Tony Yayo had a lot to say about all of this. According to him, 50 was actually cool with Meech when he first got out of prison. He even visited his house. And at that time, things were looking good between them. Most people assume the Rick Ross situation is what tore them apart, but Yayo had a different take. He thinks the real issue is money. While 50 was making millions off the BMF deal, Meech had nothing. And for a guy who was used to running things, that had to sting.
That was crazy. We went to Meech's house. We sat down with him, Lil Meech. And, I thought, big things in the future was coming, because he was talking about stories about motherfuckers jumping in cars with bricks. And he just was telling the war stories that was amazing, where I was mesmerized. And, him and 50 was kicking it and everything was good, And then you fast forward to the Ross thing, and that's when everything kind of went left, BMF was the last is to do it in the game. My album came out in 2005. Them niggas was lit, but I think something with 50 is like 50 is the type of I think certain niggas just don't want him to be in the driver's seat all the time. That's how it seemed, because it just seemed like a bad deal. You know, you was with 50. He's talking about stuff in the future. He made your family money. You know, you would think you would be a little bit appreciative, but motherfuckers don't have to be loyal to 50 in business. I guess that's how Meech felt, because he's his own boss.
Yayo recalled sitting at Meech's house with Lil Meech, thinking that big things were on the way. Meech was telling wild stories about running bricks, and Yayo admitted he was mesmerized. At that moment, everything seemed fine between Meech and 50. They were chopping it up, and the energy was good.
You know what I mean? Motherfuckers, hustlers, they not promoters. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why it failed, or maybe shit wasn't right, but you know, a lot of artists was lined up to do it, and if that's what they wanted to do, that's on them. You know? But let's keep it real. When niggas say Gunna's a rat, the whole ATL falling back from him. So
hold on, let me interrupt you there. People were saying Gunna was a rat, but Gunna was selling out concerts everywhere he was going.
I know, but what I'm saying is niggas was falling back from him because he took a cop out and it looked funny.
Fast forward to today, and things are completely different. Tony Yayo broke it down. Everything was fine until Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross. That's when things started to go sideways. Yayo pointed out that back in the day, BMF was one of the last real crews running the game. His own album dropped in 2005, and he remembers how lit things were back then. But when it comes to 50, Yayo thinks some people just don't like seeing him in control. He explained that Meech was rolling with 50, talking about future plans, and 50 was literally making his family money. So in his mind, Meech should have been a little more appreciative. At the same time, Yayo admitted that nobody owes 50 loyalty when it comes to business. And Meech, he's always been his own boss. But here's where things get interesting. While Big Meech was locked up, 50 was actually the one looking out for Lil Meech.
Why are you the last of the Mohicans, man, in the crew,
What makes
man?
him the last of the Mohicans?
Everybody's gone. The OG unit, man. It's like, you're the
What happened to the guys?
last.
He's my guy.
What happened to the guys? What happened to
I'm gonna give you an example, right?
Go ahead, yeah, because this is like...
I know Mike's been running through millions, billions since his 20s, right? He did a lot for a lot of people, just like 50, right? So in life, you gotta always remember, it's not all about how many times you say yes. It's about that one time you say no.
Oh yeah, it's over.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about it. How many things you did for people, right? And, oh, yo, yes. But when you say no, they mad at you. I'm not that type of guy. You know what I mean?
Believe it or not, 50 Cent is the reason Lil Meech even has an acting career. Yayo recalled how Lil Meech used to rap back in the day, and from what he saw, nobody was really helping him. He remembered Lil Meech grinding, but it wasn't until 50 stepped in and secretly put him in acting school that things changed. That move literally set him up to make millions.
You know, but when you take Lil Meech and you put him in acting school, you know, you take him from Detroit. I remember him rapping when he was rapping and nobody was helping him from what I seen. Cause I remember when Lil Meech was rapping. Nobody helped him, and then 50 put him in acting school, kept it on the low, and he made all this money.
So if we're talking about who's been the better father figure, 50 or Big Meech, fans can decide that for themselves. And 50, he's not shy about it. He recently hopped on Instagram to remind everyone just how much he's done for Lil Meech. He claimed that Big Meech wasn't too happy about his relationship with Lil Meech. While 50 was trying to steer him away from narcotics and reckless spending, his father was telling stories about how he used to pop pills like it was no big deal. And it gets deeper. 50 even sent Lil Meech to rehab when things started getting out of control. According to 50, Russell Hornsby noticed Lil Meech was messed up on set and even started throwing up during a weapons test. That's when someone told 50 that he had a bunch of whippets in his truck. At first, 50 had no idea what that even meant, but when he looked it up, he realized it was the same stuff used in BB guns. Oh, and FYI, Mimi is what 50 calls Lil Meech. But let's be real, 50 loves taking credit for everything he's done. In another post, he made it clear that he helped the Meech family make millions, so their current money problems, that's not on him. He even brought up an old clip of Lil Meech with Rick Ross's daughter, Toey Roberts, and used it as another opportunity to call out Big Meech. He questioned why nobody else had stepped up to put Lil Meech in acting school, saying that all the people who were around back then did nothing for him. At this point, 50's making it clear he doesn't regret cutting them off. He also wrote 50 wasn't done throwing shots. He straight up said that Big Meech came home thinking he was the Black Pablo Escobar and ended up messing everything up. Then he made it clear, whatever money the Meech family once had, he wasn't the reason it disappeared. He reminded everyone that he had helped them make over $5 million legally, and if it's all gone now, that's on them. But the real disrespect? 50 came for Meech's jewelry game. He called him out for wearing what he called baby jewelry and told him to give it back to whoever it actually belonged to. Now some fans think Meech could have avoided all of this if he had just stayed loyal to 50. They were supposed to make BMF movies and spin-offs together, and Meech could have easily walked away with $30 to $40 million. But instead, he took that infamous picture with Rick Ross and destroyed his relationship with 50 in the process.
That's what he did. You sided with Ross, some bozo. You got 19 years of being incarcerated. That 50 could have took that and converted that to about 5 seasons, and then turned around and then did the overall movie. He had a good 30 to 50 million he could have made. Now you standing next to a mother who couldn't even keep a concert going. Rick Ross is on the concert.
Second on the line.
In about 10 days, Ross is gonna throw him away. Now, I'm gonna be real with you, Meech. If Rick Ross, seeing what he did to you, because he knew what he was doing standing on the side of him, right? He know Meech ain't thinking straight. If he don't throw you 3 wing stops, you ought to knock that out. What 50 gonna do? He finna burn that down. He gonna release that last season, and then he's gonna release the Tammy and discredit everything that people thought that man.
Yayo broke it down. He couldn't believe Meech chose to link up with Ross. After spending 19 years behind bars, he could have teamed up with 50, who would have turned his story into at least 5 seasons of BMF and a big budget movie. That alone could have made him anywhere from $30 to $50 million. But instead, he was standing next to a guy who couldn't even keep a concert going. Yayo said Ross's tour was already struggling, and in about 10 days, he was probably going to toss Meech aside like it was nothing. And if that wasn't bad enough, Yayo also made a wild prediction. He said if Ross didn't at least hook Meech up with a few Wingstop franchises, he needed to rethink that whole relationship. Because at the end of the day, Ross knew exactly what he was doing by standing next to Big Meech. He knew Meech wasn't thinking straight.
They will mess up relationships with your friends, with your significant other. You might even lose your job. Because nobody can tell me that Big Meech working with Rick Ross, his son's boss's known rival, was not deliberate. Okay? That is a very conscious choice. And why might a parent do that? Right? Maybe if they have some trauma, a little bit of resentment and jealousy. Because sometimes with an unhealed parent, all of the reasons they should be proud of you are the same reasons why they're a little bit jealous of you, right? He should have came home and made his coming home about family. Passing the ranks to his son on TV, making millions, looking good, he acting, got a career. You shouldn't even be all on the phones, on Instagram, trying to do a car show with Rick Ross. It'll never be 2008 again, you know what I'm saying? But you ain't healed that. So now you trying to relive your 20s. So you're not seeing your son's accomplishments as this is my son's accomplishments. You're seeing it as almost like competition. Like, oh, you trying to one-up me? Now the real Big Meech is home. So now let me show you how to get some money. Let me show you how to do it. I'm gonna go work with your boss's rival. You think Big Meech thought about how him working with Rick Ross would affect his son? Because no, all I'm thinking about is some clout. Some temporary clout, because let's be clear, that relationship with Rick Ross and Big Meech is not real. It's not genuine.
As for 50, Yayo said he's going to make sure Meech feels this betrayal. He's going to drop the final season of BMF, then release the Tammy Project, and completely tear down whatever legacy people thought Big Meech had left. At this point, it's looking like 50 isn't just done with Meech, he's about to rewrite the whole story. Some people believe Big Meech didn't just mess up his own future, he might have ruined his son's too by teaming up with Rick Ross. Think about it, he's just got out of jail, and the first move he makes is working with his son's boss's biggest rival? That's the kind of decision that can wreck relationships, ruin opportunities, and even cost you a job. Nobody can say that was an accident. That was a choice, a very deliberate one. So why would a parent do that? Maybe it's deeper than money. Maybe there's some old trauma, a little bit of jealousy, and some resentment mixed in. Sometimes an unhealed parent doesn't see their child's success as something to celebrate. They see it as competition. Instead of coming home and focusing on family, Big Meech should have been passing the torch, letting his son shine. Lil Meech is on TV making millions, building a career. But instead of standing behind him, Big Meech is on Instagram, caught up in drama and trying to do car shows with Rick Ross like it's still 2008. The problem? It's not 2008. He's trying to relive his past. And now, instead of seeing his son's success as a win for the family, he's treating it like a challenge. Almost like, oh, you think you're bigger than me now. Let me show you how to really make money. That's why people believe he didn't even stop to think about how working with Rick Ross would affect Lil Meech. It wasn't about family, it was about clout, a temporary flex. And let's be real, whatever bond Meech and Ross have, it's not real. If someone is only rocking with you to spite someone else, that's not a friendship, it's just business. At the end of the day, Big Meech only has himself to blame. He mismanaged his millions, and now he's dragging his son into the same financial mess. But could he turn things around? Maybe. Rick Ross recently said he wants to make a BMF movie. He even posted on his Instagram stories that he's thinking about bringing in big-name directors like Anthony Fuqua or Quentin Tarantino to make it happen. The real question is, will he actually do it? Because let's not forget, Ross couldn't even pull off a welcome home concert for Meech. So does he really seem like the type to make a whole movie? At this point, Meech's future is looking shaky. So what do you think? Is he on the road to making things right, or is he digging himself into a deeper hole? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you want to stay in the loop with more binge-worthy topics, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We'll see you in the next video.